We were saying very difficult to follow with words after listening to this amazing music that speaks so strongly to our hearts and to our minds. I think this is the best of Europe, what you've just been playing. And it really moves us, I think moves me certainly. And it's a message of Europe to the rest of the world. I think this is not only European, it's universal. And I think that's what the European Union really aspires to, not to be universal itself. It isn't. We're in a small continent compared to the magnitude of the world. But we do aspire to contribute to the world and to contribute to a very peaceful world. But again, I have speech, which I will read, but I just couldn't help saying a few words from the heart after listening, hearing this amazing music. And huge thanks to the youth choir. Huge thanks to the young musicians, Symphony Orchestra, principal conductor, James Blair. My very dear friend, which I haven't seen yet today, I hope he is here, Roger Bramble, chairman of the youth orchestra. Thank you. I do want to follow London diplomatic practice, so I am going to say a few words, despite that I think no words are really needed. And I am here together with two very dear friends and British authorities. I thank you very much for joining us here today, dear Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, dear Chris, dear Minister of State for Europe, dear Nusrat. Thank you so much for accompanying us. I think your presence here is very telling in what our relationship is with the European Union. This morning, I had the privilege to listen to Lord Cameron speak, in one of his very clear and strong messages was that the relationship with the European Union was one of the most important things for the UK. And I dare say that the relationship with the UK is at the highest level for the European Union as well. We are in a continent, we share interests, we share values, and we have to work together, particularly in the very challenging times that we're facing. I was going to refer, and I will refer to, how 2023 and the year that has gone back since last time we met here has been an amazing year in EU-UK relations. I think we've rebuilt trust. And very much the Windsor framework that you, Chris, together with James Cleverly, together with Mado Sefcovic, our Executive Vice President, contributed to build, and which allows actually Northern Ireland to benefit from the advantages of the single market while remaining, as it should, in the internal market of the United Kingdom. And understanding each other's concerns and interests, we've managed to find very practical solutions that have been, I think, extremely positive. And we've seen this throughout the year, not least with the restoration of power-sharing institutions, which we very much welcome and will no doubt bring stability, further stability and prosperity to Northern Ireland. So I pay tribute to you, Chris, and your team for the excellent work done and the friendship and cooperation that accompanies our engagement on this important issue. And this agreement on Windsor actually allowed us to further develop the potential of the treaties that govern our relationship, the Trade and Cooperation Agreement, the Withdrawal Agreement. The UK is again part of Horizon and Copernicus. The scientific programs, we're working together on issues ranging from new sources of energy to new frontiers in biology, artificial intelligence, and outer space. And our researchers keep Europe at the forefront of scientific and technological development. This is no doubt key to our mutual security, resilience, and prosperity. We also activated a financial regulatory forum, launched dialogues on counterterrorism and cybersecurity, and more cooperation is yet to come. Of course, as in any relationship, this doesn't mean that there are no difficulties and no problems, but what it does mean and show is that the channels that we have created to develop a healthy relationship are effective and are working. Keeping a strong EU-UK relationship is today more important than ever. The future of our continent is being defined now. For a second year, we have been unflinchingly supporting Ukraine in its fight against Russian aggression, and this requires a united Europe. In Blenheim on July 18, the UK will host the 4th summit of the European political community, and defending Ukraine's sovereignty will be at the center of discussions amongst our leaders. In the Middle East, where the European plays an important role in promoting dialogue and peaceful solutions with its partners, the European Union and the United Kingdom work side by side towards the same goals. A strong EU-UK relationship requires a strong EU and a strong UK. It is particularly significant that we have just celebrated the 20th anniversary of the 2004 EU enlargement. 10 new member states joined the Union 2 decades ago. The accession brought unprecedented development and prosperity to all of them. It also made the European Union stronger and more fit for purpose. Together, member states addressed effectively the 2007 financial crisis, pushed forward the EU project through the adoption of the Lisbon Treaty in 2009, joined forces to fight and then recover from the COVID crisis, and are now responding with determination to the Russian war against Ukraine. Today, this is an important reminder, as 10 other European states have embarked in the process of acceding into the European Union. The European Union is already the vertebral column of Europe's security and prosperity. Through further enlargement, its central role will be reinforced in the future. Europe Day is also about its citizens, and there are millions living in the UK. Allow me to thank the organizations, member states' embassies and consulates supporting EU citizens in the UK, and also the British government for the responsiveness and assistance on this matter. We will soon be launching an award to recognize yearly outstanding contributions from civil society organizations. Finally, democracy remains an indivisible part of our union. I want to use today's gathering to emphasize the importance of the elections to the European Parliament and to call on the millions of EU citizens in the UK to exercise their voting rights in June. This strengthens the European Union's democratic legitimacy. It also intervenes at a crossroads in European history. I encourage citizens to assume their responsibilities and guide the choices European leaders will be called upon to make. Dear Chris, dear Nusrat, dear colleagues and friends, many thanks for joining us today in a celebration that aspires to be truly pan-European, a stronger Europe that engages with the rest of the world to address global challenges. May I now I was going to raise a glass, but I see I don't have one. But I would like to, thank you very much. And maybe that's very good, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We all have glasses now. And I hope some of you have glasses as well, because I do want to raise the glass to His Majesty, the King, Charles III, but to the King. Thank you. And if you allow now, Chris, you will end those, right?
Thank you
very much.
Pedro, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, fellow politicians, various members, illustrious and otherwise, of the press, many of our wonderful civil servants, and indeed, if I may just say hello to a few former members of the European Parliament who I've spotted in the room, Charles Tannock, Jean Lambert and Nina Gill. I know are all here. Oh my God, there's a lineup at the front. Life after politics is obviously not too bad. You all look a lot younger than you were when you were in the European Parliament. So I'm delighted to be here with you, Pedro, to celebrate Europe Day with you and the ideals of peace and unity that Europe Day symbolizes for so many. And I really would like to thank you, Pedro, for your friendship over the course of the time you've been here. It's been wonderful for me to have someone to talk to try and do what I think sometimes politics is best conducted behind the scenes, and negotiations most certainly. And so to have someone to talk to has always been unbelievably useful, and your friendship is truly valued. So thank you very much indeed. And but before I go on, James, to you and your orchestra, outstanding. You were billed to me as a flash mob. you're a bit of a flashy mob, actually. Classy as well. That was absolutely outstanding. So thank you, and thank you all, because it really was quite something to open up with. And I'd like to think that the relationship between the UK and the European Union can be as flashy and as classy as you in the years to come. Now, I was a member of the European Parliament for 10 years. It's a bit like coming to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting when you have to say that. And I think probably uniquely amongst the former MEPs in this room, I was quite comfortable, very happy, in fact, when we left the European Union and had a chance to reshape our partnership. Now, I know lots of things didn't go quite as I'd have liked them to at that point in time. But I'd like to think that the 10 years I had in the European Parliament gave me a little view as to how we could build a new chapter based on cooperation and shared goals. My time as an MEP also showed me that you don't get anywhere in politics or anywhere, in fact, without understanding the views of others and patiently talking to them, understanding and negotiating as well. Now, we've made, as Pedro says, significant progress on a whole host of priorities, from the financial services cooperation to UK association to Horizon Europe and Copernicus, and to a new UK Frontex working arrangement. And so we are now, I'd like to think, and maybe the Windsor Framework had a small part to play in it. We're much better neighbours, allies and friends now than maybe we were immediately after we left. Now, Northern Ireland is actually a vitally important part of the United Kingdom. It's also vitally important to Ireland and the European Union. And we all have a shared goal to ensure that Northern Ireland is able to thrive and prosper. Last year, we celebrated the 25th anniversary of the Belfast Good Friday Agreement, a quarter of a century of peace from the signing of the agreement, a journey that Northern Ireland has been on to peace and prosperity that continues today, as does our commitment to creating a bright, positive future for all the citizens of Northern Ireland. Progress then, now 26 years ago, was brought about by months of understanding, of negotiations, of patience, and those traits have, as I said before, a big part to play in the modern day Northern Ireland. I'm pleased to say that I speak to you today at a time when we have addressed many of the frictions that arose under the Northern Ireland Protocol by agreeing the Windsor Framework, which maintains Northern Ireland's vital access to the EU market for goods, but obviously still being a vital and integral part of the United Kingdom. That was the result of months of progress and patience and talks and understanding. We've also improved the operation of the Windsor Framework with the Safeguarding the Union Agreement, which enabled the restoration of devolved government, the result of months of patience, understanding and negotiation. And the UK government is committed to supporting a restored executive, Northern Ireland executive, to deliver its economic priorities as swiftly and strategically as possible. And we very much welcome the recent joint UK-EU solution to ensure Northern Ireland traders can benefit from the UK's independent free trade policy when importing agri-food goods. Now, it's incumbent on us all to work collaboratively, as we have done successfully over the last year, to find practical solutions that support Northern Ireland fully unlocking the benefits of this amazing dual market access. In the 3 months since the return of Stormont, we've seen how the political parties of Northern Ireland can work together, with the First Minister and the Deputy First Minister demonstrating to the world, in word and deed, their commitment to making Stormont work for everyone in Northern Ireland. So on this Europe Day, I look forward to continuing to build our relationship as partners with common interests, to use what we have achieved together as a sound basis to deliver economic growth and prosperity for all, for the people of the United Kingdom, the people of the European Union, and of course, the people of Northern Ireland. where differences emerge, which they undoubtedly will, let's use that tried and tested practice of patience, talks, negotiations, and understanding to overcome them. So Pedro, ambassadors, I wish you all the best on this Europe Day. May our positive cooperation continue for a long time to come, and I wish you all, as I say, all the best. And now it is my pleasure to give you the double whammy of another minister, the Minister for Europe, Nusrat Ghani, a great friend of mine, here to say a few words as well. Nusrat.
Excellencies, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your warm welcome to me and to Chris and to our host, Ambassador Serrano. This is a fantastic event. Thank you so much for introducing me to this fantastic orchestra and the choir. A massive round of applause for them, please. I'm delighted to be back and see so many of my friends, because I worked with many of you when I was the Minister for Industry and Economic Security. So I know, having worked across government, what a positive relationship that we share and the results that we are delivering for citizens and businesses on both sides. And today our cooperation is more vital than ever before. As we mark the anniversary of the Schuman Declaration, we must recall its commitment to making war in Europe not merely unthinkable, but materially impossible. We cannot let that commitment and vision go to vain. That is why we must stand together in support of Ukraine and its democracy. And as the Minister for Europe, I will be working with many of you on many issues, but my laser focus is supporting Ukraine. We should also continue working together on shared challenges like tackling illegal migration and strengthening our defence industry in line with our NATO commitments. As mentioned earlier, the next meeting of the European Political Community will be a crucial chance to drive cooperation on these issues, and we look forward to welcoming leaders at the historic Blenheim Palace in July. I know that these are not simple challenges and there are no simple solutions. So before I end, I want to thank you all for the energy and can-do attitude you bring to our interactions across all fields, especially business and research to culture and sport. And this all goes to make up the diversity and vibrancy of our very modern relationship. And what better way to celebrate than with some healthy competition at this weekend's Eurovision Song Contest. I won't ask us who we're going to support, or indeed the upcoming Euro Championship in Germany and Olympic Games in France. I'm not sure this is going to bring us together, Pedro. I think we're going to be competing. But we do indeed have serious challenges to work together on, but I very much look forward to working with all of you. As Pedro said earlier, we have the same values, the same aspirations for our citizens and our families, and the same challenges. Our relationship will, of course, go from strength to strength. Thank you so much, Ambassador, for hosting us today.
Many thanks to all, and enjoy the day, and huge thanks again to Chris and Nusrat. Thank you so much to all. Thank you.